IT, computer engineering, computer science, and nursing are the hottest recommendations right now if you're looking to get a degree. According to the UN, around the world, the STEM field is a profitable and economically stable investment. And yet, a surprising metric looms around the dart. And according to a survey by the DOST, a whopping 76% of science and technology graduates don't actually land science and technology related jobs or anything related to their field at all. This begs the question, how did we get here? What does this mean for our future as fresh graduates? And what can we do about it? Hi, this is Social Science 1, and today we're going to be talking about how many STEM graduates don't actually land jobs related to their fields.
The problem lies here. Imagine a country aiming to compete in a world driven by engineering, breakthroughs, and scientific discoveries, yet struggling to face a basic issue: not enough STEM talent. Right now, the Philippines is facing exactly that. We are not producing enough scientists, engineers, and tech professionals to sustain our own development. The repercussions of this ripples throughout our economy. Without a strong STEM workforce, foreign investors are discouraged from supporting our country's innovation and high technology industries. And in turn, without these investments, jobs are limited, research and development slows down, and ultimately, technological progress is compromised. This problem then becomes a cycle as more students are discouraged from pursuing STEM. But who can blame them? They see this lack in opportunity, they notice the outdated infrastructure, and they hear that STEM as a career is unstable. Because of these confounding factors, the country loses more STEM talent faster than it can produce it. Back in 2021, the Philippine Institute of Developmental Studies has warned that within a span of 4 years, the country will experience a massive shortage in STEM-trained workers. 570,000 engineers, 14,000 life scientists, 10,000 physical scientists, and an additional 14,000 data scientists will be limited. However, despite this growing demand, most of our STEM graduates do not work in STEM fields at all. From 1990 to 2015, the country has produced 3.7 million graduates in STEM. However, only 24% of these actually work in their respective fields. The remaining 76% shifted into other jobs, not because they are not skilled, but rather because options in STEM are limited and lack long-term potential.
This issue also extends to secondary and tertiary education, where the STEM pipeline begins to narrow down. Specifically, despite growing national demand, only 26% of senior high schools in the Philippines offered STEM courses in 2018, largely due to a lack of laboratories and instructional resources. This can also be seen in enrollment data, as only 23.24% of the 2.8 million senior high school students in the Philippines pursue STEM, according to the Philippine Senate in 2018. A similar number is observed at the college level from 2014 to 2017, with only 22 to 25% of enrollees in STEM and STEM-adjacent fields. Taken together, this data highlights an extremely apparent issue spanning from secondary and tertiary education to the Filipino workforce as a whole. With limited access to STEM, the under-enrollment in STEM degrees, and the underutilization of STEM graduates, the national STEM shortage issue is a very large one. Not only do these factors reduce scientific innovation, they also perpetuate a cycle that discourages both local STEM talent and foreign investors. Addressing this complex issue would, therefore, require multifaceted interventions across all educational levels and even the government itself. Now, we'd also like to discuss the people who are specifically affected by this issue. The ones who are at a loss here are both the Philippine population and the global STEM market. Quite a lot of people. STEM helps in many important fields such as cybersecurity, biotechnology, renewable energy, and economic management and marketing, among many others. Without a stable, developed STEM economy in the Philippines, the local populace will not be able to receive the benefits of potential developments in this field, from minor things such as efficient software to beneficial products such as health support. And the global STEM market would not be able to reap the benefits of the potential for STEM-oriented businesses in the Philippines. The potential gainers, on the other hand, remain both the Philippine people and the global STEM market. If the push for STEM growth in the Philippines succeeds, the developing nation will be able to gain international support and a stronger economy, helping further national developments that would potentially push the Philippines into the status of a fully developed nation.
The latest figure for the number of full-time equivalent researchers per million population here in the Philippines was around 172 per million, according to the Global Innovation Index report. This is less than half the number of researchers that UNESCO estimates are needed for a country to take off towards industrialization. And while this is happening, South Korea was able to amass 9,480 per million. In this part of the video, let's try to see what exactly this country is doing differently to maintain such a high number of STEM graduates in their fields. In South Korea's case, it was the effect of long-term initiatives brought about by the Special Act on Support for Scientists and Engineers. This act's content is divided into four main parts: manpower development, distribution, utilization, and infrastructure. For instance, in terms of employment, unemployed researchers with master's and doctorate degrees are re-employed through national R&D projects. Furthermore, they promoted science and engineering personnel not only in public sectors but also in the private sector. This expansion and manpower exchange between different industries facilitated the government shift from a supply-led approach of developing scientists and engineers to a more demand-oriented manpower policy, wherein educational programs are adapted to face specific skill gaps in the job market identified by the involved industries themselves.
And finally, how the hell do we fix this? In order to fix the situation of the lack of STEM growth in the country, many sweeping changes must be made not just in the fieldwork but also in the Philippine government. Surprise, surprise! Government bureaucracy and corruption serve as major hindrances in the growth of STEM fields and foreign investment in the country. More efficient government channels in STEM fields, like in scholarships and research subsidies, would definitely help speed up this growth. Anti-corruption measures like harsher sanctions, decentralized reporting of corruption, and government transparency are a number of much-needed ways to solve this part of the issue. Apart from that, the relevant government sectors and STEM professionals must work together to build the base for potential STEM industries with a competitive edge. The Philippines needs to boost the manpower and expertise in its STEM fields. More initiatives like DOST's Balik Scientist program, which brings more specialized Filipino scientists abroad back home, would be needed to increase the science and technology capabilities within the country. Alongside that, importing better technology, improving workstations, and making resources such as electricity and internet connection more efficient and affordable are some important investments to kickstart growing STEM industries in the country. With these improvements, foreign investors would be more confident in bankrolling the country's science and technology industries and would really get the ball rolling for these fields. These developments would eventually lead to a steadily increasing employment demand for STEM workers, providing more job opportunities for STEM graduates and counteracting and ideally reversing the aforementioned cyclical issue. Of course, the implementation of any of these policies and changes would need constant monitoring and cooperation from different stakeholders to ensure efficacy. But with this, it can be ensured that the solutions and changes turn out to be profitable in the end so that the Philippines may potentially grow and continue to grow as a STEM nation.